This is a placeholder song until we replace the old song. This is a placeholder song for Is This Anything?
Hey, it's Leedy Corbin.
Hey, it's Tomb Raider.
Hey.
Tomb
You
Raider.
look like Tomb Raider.
I do. I'm serving Tomb Raider realness right now, but I think it's fabulous.
You fucking look
All right.
awesome.
Now that Leedy's dressed as Tomb Raider, can I take the camera off my crotch?
Yeah.
We finally have
We
some
got it right.
some other appeal to the show. Besides Brett's crotch. Leedy, what's up with your little cosplay? What's going on?
This is called fashion.
Oh.
Damn.
What?
I bought a bunch of fashion harnesses and I'm
Fashion
trying one
harnesses.
of them on today. Yeah. I think
also-
they're fabulous.
It's also good if she needs to go ziplining on a moment's notice.
True.
If she's got to steal the Declaration of Independence, she
Yep.
is
Hooks right up.
ready.
I have another one that's even more of a statement that I'm afraid to wear just yet.
Ooh.
But it starts right here and it goes down and then it has chains coming out in like a rib formation. And I don't have an occasion to wear that.
No, you don't need one. Just fucking Tuesday afternoon, just strutting.
Strutting. I don't know. It feels it's not really in my usual what I wear. It's a bit abnormal. So
Wear it to the library, you coward.
I
That's a great
deserve
place to wear
that.
a statement.
That library is full of statements and questions.
I had a statement shirt, but it just said the quick brown fox jumped over the two lazy dogs, and you're like, that's not really much of a statement.
I always
Did that
learned that.
statement. No, I was just gonna ask if that statement goes in facts or not.
Did the quick brown fox jump over the two lazy dogs?
I've just heard it too many times. It is suspect now. I'd always heard that as you don't. Whoa, Leedy, what the hell was that?
That was amazing.
Where
That
did
goes
that
in
come
facts.
from? How do you do that?
I'll show you how to do it later. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Is that a Zoom thing?
Boom,
No,
that goes in facts.
it's a Streamlabs OBS thing.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's such a delight.
Yes.
Oh my God,
I'm
I
very
like it
excited
so
about
much.
Did you have that pre-saved, or did you just type that in?
I have it pre-saved. I have 2 of these buttons ready for you, and I have a different set of buttons for AUE.
God, I can't wait to see what's happening.
I kind of want you to tell us what the other one is for us, but I also want to be surprised because I want to see if it comes up organically, and then we get to see it in the moment.
Can I see what happened that everybody went whoa about?
That goes in facts.
I was expecting, an animation,
big.
some kind of like
Nope, just
Leedy
words.
interacting with Jar Jar Binks. It's like the Windows 95 MS Word font.
Shut up.
It's fun.
But I can't do that, Brett. I can't do it. I don't know how to do
You're
that.
right. I know. I just expected from your actions that it was going to be something.
Whoa, where'd she go?
Whoa! Oh my God!
She disappeared. It's just her name. Ah! She's back. What is she, Jesus?
All right, let me get to some of these comments because I was busy making a Facebook event. Druck loud and clear. Jarret loud and clear. We need Johnny to do our sound checks all the time.
Hell yeah.
Way to be, man. You're crushing
No
it. Thank
foffing
you.
about, no bits. This guy's just
Faffing.
business.
Faffing
is what-
about. Sorry.
I have a question for the group, and I don't know if Rob can hear me, so I don't know. Where's Rob Ryan? Rob, yeah!
Yes!
Hey!
Join the crew. I love it.
Rob Ryan.
Fashion, Jarret.
All
You got
you
you got a little Nathan Drake cosplay going on.
Called fashion.
All you need are some titties, and then it's fashion.
Okay, so Brett, god damn it. Ugh. Never gonna get to my question.
No, you're not. You know what? I couldn't find my belt. I was just gonna put a belt right around my chest. Yeah, I should try
More
to line them up
straps,
with
more
my
straps,
titties.
more straps.
More straps.
Augustus Percival. Sorry about the nickname Jarret.
Ooh, named after Emperor Augustus.
Augustus, why are you sorry about the nickname? Are you sorry about your nickname or my nickname? Did you give me a bad
God.
nickname?
Augustus, are you familiar that before your reign in the Roman Empire, that we had a 10-month calendar that did not include July or August. And that goes in facts. And Julius sounds like July. Augustus sounds like August. And those 2 months were added to make a 12-month calendar. In fact, if you do not believe me, consider the fact that September...
You look amazing.
Called fashion, Jarret.
Yeah, Jarret.
It's
Where's
so
yours?
weird that he's so behind the times.
All right, we gotta try to think of a video game character that looks like this.
Like a mummy boss, but on its last legs.
Yeah, you've already beaten him up a lot.
Yeah, he's like
Turtles
one hit
through
left.
time when they go to Egypt and they beat up the mummies. Cosplay.
Hey everybody, welcome to Is This Anything? Straps.
Strapped.
Live strapped recording.
Augustus Percival, I can almost guarantee that you are not responsible for me becoming Bert because I know exactly who is responsible. I know when we were doing the indie live social distance social club and I traded bits with Andrew Rivers, I believe it was Chris Bowers who said, hey, we got Bert and Ernie up here or something like that.
I thought it was Hayden.
Hayden? Who's Hayden?
Hayden
Lamaster,
Lamaster.
the graphics master.
I don't believe so.
Nowhere and
Oh.
stuff.
I believe it was the panel. I believe it was the dais who decided that I was
okay.
Bert.
I thought it was Hayden
Oh,
Christensen.
you're right. Because Hayden, no, it was not Hayden Christensen. You're right. I think Hayden asked a question about it, and then it prompted further discussion. I think.
And then he
Yes.
was like, I
Yes,
hate
yes,
the Jedi Council.
I don't like sand.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy. I know Star Wars, guys. Woo,
Brett
boy.
and I are about to start a Star Wars marathon.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Hey, that sounds like fun.
What was the
Wednesday-
impetus for this?
Wednesday, I have to do my second dose of mushrooms for my cluster headache episode. And that was the impetus for us to do something like that.
to watch Star Wars.
Are you going to start with Cluster Headache Episode 4? Or are you going to start with...
Revenge of the
flawless,
Suicide
Rob.
Headaches. Are you going to go 1 through blah blah blah?
We're gonna do we're gonna do prequels, then we're gonna do Rogue Squadron. That's gonna be our only
Rogue One.
Road One. That's gonna be our only out of the episodes.
The sequence.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it'll still be in chronological order for the timeline of Star Wars.
Excellent.
Oh, interesting.
Controversial hot take. I think Rogue One is the best Star Wars thing that's ever been made.
It's not controversial with Leedy and I.
It's a very good one, but I also am very partial to A New Hope.
Well, a lot of people would say that Empire is number 1
Oh, right. Yeah.
you think it's number one of all of the movies?
of all of them. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't go with that, but it's certainly the best one for me outside of the original trilogy. Let's get to some of these comments. Rob is mansplaining the Gregorian calendar. Welcome to Is This Anything? Everything Rob does is mansplaining because he's a man and he knows a lot of
And he
information.
explains.
I explain things way too often.
And he's very condescending. So
Very good, Jarret. That's correct. I am. Very
Thank
good.
you, Rob.
Wow. That's good on you, buddy.
Druck and ropes, Leedy and harness. Nice to see a kink positive stream. Okay.
All right. I don't know about that.
I never got to finish my condescending explanation. So for those who
All right.
don't know,
yeah.
if you notice, the month September starts with SEPT, which is the prefix for 7. And October has a prefix OCT, which is the prefix for 8. And November NOV for 9. And December DEC, the prefix for 10. And you might wonder, as I did when I was a kid, doesn't make any sense. And that's because it was on a 10-month calendar, and those 2 months got slipped in there. So you can thank Augustus for that.
Why did he do that, Augustus? Why did you do that?
Leave it in the. Let us know in the chat
No, I'm asking you, Rob.
why you did that.
Why did Augustus do that?
You know what? This is where my facts run out. I don't know if it was done posthumously.
Oh no, Rob's out of facts.
Oh, no.
You gotta plug him back into the factinator or whatever.
I really don't
maybe
know.
the pile is so huge that he can run out of facts pretty quickly. Hey, Rob,
I
riddle me
know
this.
3 things.
Maybe someone can look this up, or maybe Augustus, because it's based on your namesake. But I don't know if it was like Emperor Augustus himself who like implemented this, or if it was after his death that they were like, we should name a month after him or something. So if anyone knows out there, please let me know.
I have a theory.
Yeah, go for it.
I have a theory that he was a surfer emperor and he was just really about the summer. You know, he's like, what's the problem with our calendar? There's no summer. Man, we got to get a July and an August in there.
That's what one of my students said when we were talking about the same concept. She was like, it was just so adorable. She was like, yeah, man, it should be 10 months because then the summer will be longer because it'll be 40-day months. I was like, maybe. I don't know if that's what it goes off of. It was just such a funny way to think.
Riddle me this, Rob.
Yeah, what's up?
Septic tank.
That's 7 tanks.
Oh. You solved that real quick.
Woo! He's well juiced up with facts now. He's ready to roll.
I have a student who, it's my job because I'm a tutor for SAT prep, and among other things, I get younger students too who are testing to get into private schools and stuff. And I have a little young kid. He's like 10 years old. And it's my job to assess where they may be at. So we were getting into some geometry stuff, and I just started off, and I was like, "Hey, we're doing some geometry stuff. So let's talk shapes. What's a square?" He says what a square is. Like, oh, great, a rectangle, yeah. I was like, "What about a hexagon? You know what a hexagon is?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's like a stop sign." And I said, well, interesting, because, and we get into the octagon thing, we talk about prefixes, sides of things,
Get
whatever.
into the movie 1917. Next thing I know, session's over. Sorry, kid. I'll get $200 from your parents.
You thought Bob the Builder was a good TV show? You were wrong, buddy.
Where was the continuity? That's supposed to be one shot. That's supposed to be one shot in Bob the Builder. Okay.
Sorry, I just totally derailed you, bro.
No, it's so funny.
Please go back.
So basically, so then we're talking about trapezoids, and I was like, "Do you know what a trapezoid is?" And he's just like, I was like, "Okay," and we could draw on Zoom. I was like, "Well, let's try and draw one." And he just doesn't. And I go, okay, well, I said, how about this? And we draw a little square, and then I'm showing him different things. And it was really funny because I was like, actually, a trapezoid needs to have 2 parallel lines. You know what a parallel line is? He says, yeah, you can't touch. I said, great. I said, okay, so I drew 2 parallel lines. And I was like, okay, so now all you got to do is connect them. And he like connects it with like these zigzag lines. So it's like a 5-6-sided shape. I was like, God damn it, you're right. I guess I had to be more specific about that. I was like, so no, it's not a trapezoid, but clever. I was like, it's this. Anyway, my point is that it was very.
I could have guessed. that would have been the other graphic.
I actually have one more. I have 3.
That is not going fast. So after all this, I have to type up a little report to the mom, and I just say, hey, we went over geometry. He didn't really seem all that comfortable. He didn't really know all of his shapes, and we went over this, we went over that. And then she emails me back. She was like, yeah, he knows more than you think, and he's a little shy, so he might not always just answer your questions. Aww. And it was so infuriating to me. I was like, no, that was not shyness. He did not draw a fucking gobbledygook shape that I said draw a trapezoid. He's like, you mean this? Like, that's not a shy kid.
He just drew himself in the corner, not talking to anybody. Like, that's not a trapezoid, buddy. No.
It's a trapezoid. I'm trapped.
Excellent, Leedy.
I like the idea that your kid is really dumb and you just tell everybody that he's shy. Hey, is he licking a stop sign? Because
really,
I asked him what a hexagon was.
Confidently licking the sign. Like, he's just shy.
Yeah, just shy. He's making eye contact with me.
That's just it. I asked him, do you know what a hexagon? A totally open-ended question. Could have said yes, could have said no. He says the stop sign. And I was like, that's not a shy kid response. That's just a incorrect response. Like, and there's no shame in that. But I was so mad. I was like, that's not what's going on here.
Parallel lines cannot touch. But did you know that stripper lines, one of the lines can touch, but the other line's not allowed to?
That's such an interesting concept. It's like is there a line that one can touch the other, but not that one doesn't touch that?
Otherwise, a very thick line will escort that other line out of the geometry equation.
I mean, you could open yourself up to something uncomfortable, I'm sure, like asking those open-ended questions, like, "Oh, can you tell me what a straight line is?" And they're like, "A stripper pole." You're like, I'll just ask yes or no's now.
Right. How about these 4 straight lines? That's a champagne room. Yeah. All right. Technically true.
All right. Who's got something for the catch up? Oh, I got my question. The question I wanted to ask you guys.
Oh, yes. Please ask us this question.
Okay. So one of our Patreon tiers, one of the things that we give to our patrons is a shout out on an episode. And we have yet to do any.
Oh, well,
I'm not going to point fingers at whose fault this might be.
Jarret is in charge of the Patreon.
So what I want, it could be anybody's fault. Everybody has access to the Patreon. You guys can go on and look at it now and see if I'm forgetting anything. So it's partially your fault. So we have 4 patrons at this level to give a special shout out to. 1 per episode, ? Or are we just going to get them all done today? That's my question.
I want to shout them all out.
Yeah, that's not the question, Rob.
Right now.
Okay, there we go.
Eventually.
So, this one or this one? It's a stop sign.
Don't comment on my shyness, Brett.
Robert is shy. So we got 1 vote for doing it all today. What does Leedy and Brett think?
I vote for doing it all today.
All right, Leedy, what do you think?
How about we abnormally work them all into the episode today?
Ooh, not a bad idea.
I like that.
Sounds like
that's a civil response.
That sounds like something that Ashley D would say.
Yes.
I mean, let's just get the shout outs done as quickly as possible before Rob says something offensive about Karen Black people. You know what I mean? Yeah! Angry liberal northern.
Rob, are you seeing this?
Angry liberal noises?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so that's almost all of them, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ashley, and thank you, Karen Black, and the other 2. You'll get your thank you. We appreciate you so much. You know what? Let's just do right now. If you guys enjoy our show and you want some extra good stuff, we've got a Patreon where you can pay just $1 a month to get an extra episode a month, and then you can get a bunch of other things for just a little bit more money. If you're into that, Jarret, list those things off.
Oh, nice working, Brett. Very savvy of you.
Is that short for anything?
It's short for Savannah. Savannah Martin.
Oh, hey! Thank you, Savannah.
You're amazing.
And specifically to Savannah, Taylor Swift is the greatest alive. And I know that's the best thank you I can possibly give.
Listen, I know you're thinking some of these Patreon tiers must cost a lot of cash Sandra Civils. But
oh my God.
You can join for as little as $1 a month.
And we can awkwardly shout out your names in the future.
That's right.
Speaking of Taylor Swift, I know that we now have about 70 or so episodes of ITA out. Guess what? We're re-recording all of them. That's right. We do not have the original rights to those 70 episodes. Terrible deal we worked out with YouTube. But we are going to, word for word, repeat all of our jokes.
And the magic will be there.
We will replace Anthony Kaffler with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Boo. I give Jake Gyllenhaal an Ashley D. That's his grade.
Can someone explain to me what happened? Because I didn't pay attention to it.
Taylor Swift and Jake Gyllenhaal dated. And I think he was not so kind in the breakup and probably shouldn't have been in the relationship to begin with. And he...
she was like 19 and he was like, whatever.
Yeah, 30-something. And...
terrible.
It wasn't healthy like Leedy and I's relationship. So she made this piece that was kind of like, hey, this is just going to chronicle why this was messed up. And she directed this little short film and did a music video to it. I don't know if it was a redoing of one of her songs, but it kind of illuminated the whole story and her perspective. And yeah, it was not a good look for Jake Gyllenhaal.
I got a much simpler explanation. He stood her up on her birthday.
Yeah, like I only heard like that portion of it, and I assumed that it was deeper than that. But
or
I didn't,
what bothered Steve about it the most, he threw his keys at her. There you go.
That's pretty
that's horrible.
I don't like that either.
Yeah,
That's not exactly
it was
what
bad, but there was much worse things in it.
Yes,
like
yeah.
I mean, he has all of his friends over and ignores her, and then she tries to hold his hand, and he just does that.
Yeah.
And but at one point, he like had an important phone call, and he like needed to give her keys, just like threw them to her. It was something like, yeah, it wasn't the best decision, but also I could get it. Like if I've got something going on, and I'm just like not thinking. And then afterwards, I'd be like, I'm so sorry. But Steve was like, I can't believe he threw his keys at her. He threw his keys at her. And we were like, he was such an asshole.
You are being way too kind, man. He did not have to throw those keys overhand. And didn't he also put heavy things on there before he threw it? Wasn't he like, just a second? So he like threw on some brass knuckles.
He had a Swiss Army knife, and he took all the knives out first.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
What does Steve think about Amber Heard?
Who?
Amber Heard beat up Johnny Depp.
I don't know.
I think she threw things at him. I think
I see.
She threw like something at him, like severed his finger or something crazy.
For a while, the consensus was that Johnny Depp was physically abusive to Amber Heard. Then there was evidence that came to light that Amber Heard was physically abusive to Johnny Depp. And so now I believe what the common consensus is that they were both physically abusive to each other.
Yeah, I don't keep up with that. Actually, it turns out those 60 women raped Bill Cosby. That's what I...
Did we get all the Patreon names in first?
We sure did.
Good.
That's when I came into the story. That's what I heard.
So a special shout out, special thank you to Cassandra Civils, Ashley D, Karen Black, and Savannah Martin. That Bill Cosby
is what you're supporting.
Dedicated to you.
It was an excellent joke. We should catch up on these comments. We're pretty far behind here. Trapezoid is what General Akbar was yelling about, right?
It's a trapezoid. It's just the Death Star, but it's in the shape of a trapezoid.
What if he was doing like...
They don't blow up. Everyone's like, okay, Admiral Akbar.
He wasn't even looking at the battle. He was doing like shape flashcards. If you had seen him a second earlier, he would have been like, "It's a circle. It's a square."
Hey, it's been a while since I've watched. How do I tip? I don't think we're set up for tips yet. We should probably be by next month. But if you want to, the best tip, if you're not a Patreon member, just sign up. You know, it's going to be $12 for a year of extra content. That's less than probably one movie ticket, and you get hours of content.
Brett is wrong. The tipping box is if you go to Leedy Art and then you scroll down.
All right. Rob, mute her.
How many more of our tips you got to steal so you can buy yourself some more fashion harnesses, Leedy? Every week she's coming in to episodes wearing harnesses that we paid for. Fancier and fancier harnesses every week.
Diamond-studded harnesses.
I do
carabiners made of platinum.
I do want Leedy to come in just dangling next time.
Mission Impossible style.
Yeah. She's just being held up by like. It's fashion, Jarret.
Who's got a thing for catch up? Who wants to catch up today?
I had quite a night last night.
Ooh.
I play poker, as some of you know, and I went to this poker club that I've been going to often, and I had my most single winningest night last night. It was pretty crazy.
Wow.
So it's this club that I'll go to, and if I play well, but don't get cards, like it just stinks because the game plays pretty big. So it's a 1-3 game. That means that the blinds are $1, $3, small blind, big blind. So it costs $3 to play. And normally, if it's a 1-3, you might want to open 3 times that big blind, $9, $10, $12, something like that. People usually generally open to 15, 20, 25. So it's just like 25, call, raise to 125. Like the hands get out of control. So if you're not like catching cards, you can just dust $200, $300, $400 pretty quickly. And I'm talking to my brother, who, for those you don't know, is a professional poker player. So, you know, he is always talking me through these tougher times where he's like, hey man, just keep playing consistently. You know, none of these are bad losses. These are just what happens when you're not catching cards. So then he's like, but if you just continue to like make good decisions, eventually everything's going to align and you'll rock it. And that's exactly what happened last night. It's not like anything even crazy happened. I just wasn't getting like completely shit on by Lady Luck, right? So I am up.
That's actually one of Rob's fetishes on a one night stand.
Yeah.
Shit on by Lady Luck. Right on his chest.
Gross.
Sorry, somebody had to punch it up.
Gross. I love that as like an interviewer. Gross. Continue.
So somebody's interviewing like
Charlie Rose.
Yeah, exactly. Charlie Rose. Gross.
Gross.
That's
That's
so
really funny.
So crazy night. I sat down around 2 p.m. I leave around 3 a.m. So nice long 13-hour session.
Hey.
I'm up $3,500 by the time
Wow.
I leave. Just a all around great night. Really good stuff. And this is an interesting fun fact. This is oh, you know what? It's in my harness. Hold on. Take my harness off.
You never see this in Tomb Raider. You never see this part.
So
I actually have to get something out of here. Oh god. Ugh.
So I felt like I became a real poker player last night in one respect, because then I'm up. I've got like at one point I was up about $4,500. So you know, I'm technically stuck peak. This guy comes up to me who I've seen at this poker club before. It's this Albanian guy, and he's like, "Hey, can I get $200?" Because he doesn't have any money. And I was like, he's like, "I'll give you my watch." I was like, it's you don't have to give me the watch. I know who you are. I've seen you before. He's like, "No, I'll give it to you, and you'll give it back to me when I get you the money back." I was like, I understand. It's cool. Just take the 200. Like, you know, I've seen you around. I'll see you again. And then he busts the 200. He comes back. He's like, "Last time, bro, $300. Just here you go." And he puts the watch in my hand. Period. $300. And I was like,
Wow.
I said, all right. So now I've got his watch, his collateral.
Watch.
I desperately wanted to be a SpongeBob SquarePants watch.
It's like one of those Turtles watches you got.
Yeah. That guy sounds like he was reading out of a book called "I Have a Problem." Where he's just like, hey man, last time I swear $200, I will give you my watch.
There was a bunch of Albanian guys there actually, and he was the only one I knew. These other guys, the person I lost the big pot to, I flop a flush, and he has a set of jacks. So we go all in. He winds up beating me for 500, and he thought he was done. He was like, geez, I'm Albanian, blah, 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 blah. And
classic Albanian. God, I'm Albanian.
So he's just like, geez, he's like putting on his jacket, you know, ready to go. And then he deuce on the turn, deuce on the river. He boats up, he wins, and he's like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, justice. That is justice. Oh boy, if I lost that hand. Oh boy. And he just keeps on like saying it. And everyone at the table knows like I just kind of took a bad beat. So they're just like, shut up, man. But he's just like, oh man, do you see that? Hey, he's like calling to his Albanian friends from the other
at
table.
At this point,
hey.
you still have the watch, right?
This is a different guy.
Okay.
But yeah, this was a different guy. So he's saying this, he's doing all that stuff, and I'm like super chill about it. I'm just like, yeah. It's like, oh, because you know, I was gonna go home, but now I got all this money. I was like, oh yeah, it's good for you, man. It's cool. And so I'm being like really, really chill about it. Everyone's like kind of almost smirking to themselves how how like boastful this guy's being and how reserved I'm being. So then he gets up and he's like, "Oh man, wow, jeez, it's like the deuce and then deuce. Oh man, and then I just because the first deuce, what about the second deuce? Oh man," and I'm just like, "That's cool, man. That's great." Then he calms down a little bit. Then he gets up, he goes to the other table, and now he's speaking in Albanian. He's like, "Oh, the guys goodbye, but the deuce, but the guys got the deuce," and then I'm just like,
Rob Ryan.
exactly.
It sounds like a guy who is creating a distraction while he steals stuff.
So then he sits back down. He's still talking about the hand, and then finally someone's like, "Boy, will you stop talking about the hand?" And I was like, "I'll be honest, hearing it again in Albanian was frustrating."
I don't know how many Albanians were there, but I desperately wanted the story to end with Rob going, "All right, long story short," and he's got like 10 watches.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Congrats.
I also had a very nice night because I went with some friends. I'm very lucky. Like the only person I liked from high school moved to Hoboken, which is fantastic. So her family is in town for Christmas, and she invited me along to these domes that they had reserved in Bryant Park. So we walked around the city. I got to see all the sights, which is something I've wanted to do for a while. And then we sit down in this like crazy like shopping market type thing in Bryant Park. And it, after like walking Manhattan all day, you just want a place to like stop and be. And that's why these were great. I think I have a picture saved on the buttons, but I have to figure out which button it was. It's not that one. That one's from 8 weeks. There we go.
Oh, cool.
Aren't those cool? And each one had a curling court next to them reserved for the family.
Ooh,
so we
that's
curled.
Fun.
Yeah, and that building in the background that you can't quite see the top, behind that building is the Empire State Building. So we were like backed by the Empire State Building, and we did curling. It was just amazing. So mine's not a funny story. It was just amazing.
That's great.
This is so wonderful.
I was not invited.
You were invited.
You can't see, but in that I'm outside the igloo begging for change. No, I wasn't. I was invited. I just don't want to do touristy stuff. I was like, Leedy was telling me about her day. I was like, this is so great because I didn't have to go with you, and you still got to do all this stuff.
It did sound like when she was telling the story, she was like, "And sightseeing is something I've always wanted to do."
Always.
Recently, Brett got the newest Spider-Man game, and in it, Spider-Man is swinging around New York. And we were joking that we should make some sort of video of seeing the sights via Spider-Man, and then going to see them in person and going, "Oh my God, it's just like the Spider-Man game." So cool.
I thought you were gonna say Brett's like playing the game, and you're there. With like your camera and your map. And it's like, "I'm taking you. What are you complaining about? I'm taking you. I'm saying everything."
There was Rockefeller Center.
Look, there's Avengers Tower. There's Oscorp.
There's some crime I'm going to go take care of real quick.
Yeah.
Let's get to some of these comments and then start on the jokes. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I love it.
Man, Spider Brett.
Spider Brett. Thwarting villains with his comedy webs. Mikey, sort of a forced rhyme.
Wait, that reminds me. Have you guys seen the new commercial for Amazon that has Napoleon becoming a stand-up comedian?
No.
Napoleon.
There's a lot of things I hate about that sentence.
That was a comment. Spider Brett thwarting villains with his comedy webs. I thought, Jerry, you just saying that.
Oh no. If I were to do that, it would be better.
Ouch.
Sorry, Mikey.
We love our fans. We're gonna shout out our fans on the episode and roast them to their faces.
So sorry, was somebody saying something about...
I feel like somebody was.
I think Jarret was trashing someone from the comment section.
Talking about our fans are dumb. I hate them. They should all go to hell. Does this sound familiar?
Except
reminding anybody?
Cassandra Civils, Ashley D, Karen Black, and Savannah Martin.
So if you want to stop getting roasted, get on that list.
If you want Jarret to stop hating you, get on that Patreon.
Do you want Brett to stop following you home at night? Get on that Patreon.
Jarret, did you have anything to catch up on?
No, I don't have anything for the catch up today, guys.
Whoa!
Wow. I know.
Right. Merry Christmas.
All right, why don't we get to the order? Jarret, what's our order for today?
Our order for today is Jarret, Brett, Rob.
Jarret, Brett, Rob.
Jarret, Brett,
Jabber.
Rob.
Jabber.
Jabber Rob.
Okay, this is a bit of a longer bit.
Yay.
So strap
it's a little
in,
bit
everybody.
obscure.
It's a bit of a longer bit, but since I didn't do a catch up, I'm going to make up for it.
I'm fine with it.
Set up.
All right. So I am
A liberal, we know.
I'm a liberal, I'm a feminist. I'm a bit older than my fiance, and this will occasionally make me feel self-conscious when I'm around her parents because I want them to see me both as young and old, which is weird. Like, I want them to see me as young enough that it's appropriate that I'm with their daughter. And, you know, they know how old I am, but there's like subtle things that I do where I'm just like, just see me as young, you know, like the other day they were talking about this donut shop that was really big in the 90s and then just completely disappeared. And they asked their daughter, my fiance, if she knew about this donut shop. And she was like, no, I was 1 year old at the time. Jarret, do you know about this donut shop? And I was like, no. But at the same time, I want them to see me as old. I want them to see me as someone who's put together with a 401k and a mortgage, an important connection. If your daughter is dating an older man, you got to be thinking at least he can rent a car. At least he knows what his credit score is. At least he's not going to do a bunch of Molly and cheat on her in a porta potty at Bonnaroo. At least he can give her an internship at the company that he owns. But I'm a comedian. I may be older, but my fiance has always made more money than me because she's always had a job that paid her some. I'm the worst of both worlds. I'm an old creep and I use their Amazon Prime. I remember the donut shop. I used to go there in high school. But also, I only own 2 towels. And that's what I got.
Love it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
No. You made me think of, for some reason, some parody, Lord of the Rings, the 2 towels. And
you know, Rob, I don't know if I can fit that in. It's a little off track.
But there's something to it.
If I can write like some connective tissue, maybe I can incorporate it. But
I'll tell you something, Rob. It will be a drawing.
Spoiler alert.
I love this joke. I think you might want to either get into one section. There's 2 jokes here, right? There's a joke about how you want to look young, and then there's a joke about how you want to look old, but you can't because you're a comedian. So those are really 2 separate ideas. And I do think that you can weave them in, but I think you want to hit the first idea first. So I want you to say, no, I don't remember that donut shop. I think that year I wasn't eating donuts because I was doing this responsible thing as an adult. So donuts weren't on my radar. Something really contrived. And then I'd like for you to get into the other angle of it a little bit more.
I love this concept a lot. It's really rich, and it strikes at the core of some of those like insecurities that you probably would feel as a man, to be like, well, like I'm all the wrong things. You know, I'm not a provider, but I also feel like the creep. It's great. I think it's really good fodder. There was this is just a pitch, but I don't know if it's gonna work for you.
I heard you 2 towels. I get it, Rob. It's not.
It could be part of a trilogy of a guy's apartment you don't want to be in. I just think it might be
the
fun.
Fellowship of the Rag.
And my soap.
I was gonna say on my Axe, but it was Axe body spray. But I like
Axe body wash.
Yeah.
Now you had an actual comment though, Rob.
Yeah,
that I interrupted.
What the fuck that was? Okay? So I liked your bit where you're like, Jarret, do you remember that donut shop? And then what you did is you did pause. No. So I imagine an audience really enjoying that line. And laughter. So that no is going to be a laugh line, but I almost feel like you set it up so well that they should be laughing there. So it almost kind of like reignites the joke that you could get more words in there. And so part of me was thinking that maybe you could even go, in my mind, I thought, oh, do you know the name of the donut shop? What's the name of the donut shop?
So here's the reality of the situation.
To us, Jarret. Okay, we know what it is.
You're not dating me. I don't care.
The reality is that at the time that I was growing up, I saw them around, but it wasn't like that I would go there and hang out with my friends. You know, it was Winchell's Donuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you might be like, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, you mean Winchell's Donuts on 3rd with the little strawberries where I had my first and my hands. And then you could maybe be like, and then
where
you go back
I
to reality.
opened up my college applications, you know.
No, I don't remember that place. You know, you could do that. I don't know. It's just a thought. You describe it in great detail. No, I don't remember that place.
Well, I'm trying to think. It would be funny to be like, everything that you say about what you did in Winchell's is an example of how old I am. So like opening up my college applications, I thought was one. I thought it'd be funny to do lose your virginity, but you can lose your virginity so early that I was like, all right, well, is there like a thing that I could say that would establish that it was like, you know, I was definitely 19 years old at the time or something like that.
I would just want whatever that is to be somehow related to donuts. If that makes any sense. If you can find something there.
I paid for the donuts with my credit card.
Yes, credit card. Excellent.
I mean, that's not the real age disparity, though. You know, I mean, I love the joke, but I'm like, what? Because I'd be like, is he 18 years older than his fiance?
No.
Right.
No.
This is probably only a me thing. Sound off in the comments if you agree. If you said, because you said one, and one just really stuck in my mind. I know it sounds like an exaggeration, but when you say one and then you describe yourself as an adult, I mean, I can do the math, and I'm like, is he 17 or 18 years older than? But if you just said 6, then you can be as adult as you want to be, and
because that math is harder to do, you know.
For someone that you're dating, maybe.
Because she hasn't learned fractions yet. You know?
Right. She's shy.
Your girlfriend's barely speaking. She's shy.
She's shy. She is shy.
She's not younger than me. She's shy.
So yeah, I like that a lot.
If you want to do the internal monologue thing, you could say, oh, the one that I had my birthday party at.
But it could have been any age, though.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Well, I guess you would have to say the birthday party that you had.
Right.
Oh, when I had my 18th birthday party and everybody was like, aren't you a little old to have your 18th birthday party at a donut shop?
You mean the place that
seems like she would be having her birthday party at that donut shop.
That's where I probably met her for the first time. Okay, so then that's that section. Then there's I want them to see me as established, you know. I can rent a car. I'm not going to do a bunch of Molly and cheat on her in a porta potty at Bonnaroo.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about that. Like, but you do drugs. So like,
well, yeah, that's what happens in the next section,
right?
You know.
Yeah. But do you explicitly state like all those other things, or like I don't know, this isn't the wording, but the benefit of dating an older guy is that he's not doing this. Like, but I do drugs. I do more drugs than people half my age.
Are there any 22-year-olds in here who want to compete in a drug off with me?
Because that sounds awesome. Sounds like a super fun weekend that I have a cabin in the Poconos.
And I will waste you. That is funny. And you know what? That is something to keep in mind is every time you say something about yourself in your stand-up set, you have to think about how that joke is going to potentially relate to every other thing that you say. Yeah. And so if I do all my bits about being a stoner and, you know, like doing mushrooms every once in a while, and then I get to this part where I'm like, he's not going to do a bunch of Molly and cheat on her in a porta potty at Bonnaroo, there are probably going to be some people in the audience who are thinking in the back of their brain, it feels like you would do Molly and go to Bonnaroo, though.
You can do an aside of just like, in reality, I would do all those things except for cheat on her. But but I want them to think that I wouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering, like, because the first part is they are talking about this donut shop. Kirsten asked me if I've heard of it, and I'm like, no. Is there another conversation that I could be having with them where I'm trying to old myself up a little bit? And by old, I mean like responsible myself up a little bit.
Yeah, sure, sure.
The only thing that I could think of is if I went back to the donut shop and was like, oh, I'm sorry those aren't around. I was thinking about investing.
That's great.
Maybe put that in my 401k.
Talking about the weather, I feel like is an adult thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's funny.
The wind chills. Speaking of the wind chill, it's going to be tonight. It's going to be, tomorrow it's actually going to rain, I think. So yeah, I always try to keep an eye on the weather.
I watch the news.
Yeah, I just try to prepare whether we need an umbrella or not.
No, I haven't heard about that donut shop, but what about the Middle East? Huh? That is a thing that I read about.
It's so interesting that you want to seem older in a vague sense, but when things get down to specifics, it seems icky. And maybe there's something to that. So you want to seem vaguely old. It's because you want to be like, oh yeah, the Middle East. You're like, oh, do you remember the first Iraq War? Yeah. Boy.
Thanks for the notes, everybody. Anything else for this bit?
No, that's great.
I just want to button this by saying I love it, and I think that you should. There's kind of like a lot to mine, and it's so many different directions you can kind of go with it. And
would you say there's a lot of meat on the bone, Rob?
I would say there's a lot of meat on the bone.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is time for Brett Drug.
All right.
But first, let's check it on the comments if there are any.
Oh yeah.
Comments.
Do you guys have the comments up? Maybe we should shift.
I do.
I have the comments.
Comment reading.
Oh, Leedy should read the comments. That's a great idea.
Yeah, Jarret can do it if you want.
She's working.
Yeah, okay, working.
Jarret's just fucking around.
All right. Dizzy by Nature says, you're getting to be an older man when you sit on your balls. It's a daily activity for me. Silly Rhett, you still have to pay if you want someone else to sit on them, though. Gross. Gross. Yeah, that costs extra. Crazy Hino Lady, being an older drug user is great. You're old enough to purchase a whole bunch. Whole bunch.
Crazy Rhino Lady.
Crazy. What did I say? Crazy.
Hino.
Oh, I was losing the R. I guess my eyes are going. No.
I think that might be Zara.
Might be Zara.
That would actually be really funny if you went too old when you're trying to prove it to your parent, your mother and father.
I go over to her dad and I'm like, "Get over here, sonny boy! Can you?"
Just overcompensating for it.
Whoa. What does that say over there?
They're like, "You remember that Jonah plays?" You're like, "What?
What? Who said that?
Speak up!
Come closer!" You're like Jada Pinkett Smith in the new Matrix movie.
I remember the war.
He's so mature.
So
he's good for our daughter.
That's so funny. They say, "Do you remember that donut shop?" And you say, "I remember the war." What did you say? What was the question?
Oh my god.
Oh god.
All right. Next up, we got Brett Drug.
Okay, I got a joke. It's one of those ideas where I'm like, the idea of this is so funny, I could never turn it into a joke, but at least I'll be able to share it with you guys. I guess it's more of a sketch. But I always thought it'd be funny if we're in a Western setting. This is a real gunslinger situation. Cowboy walks into the saloon. Somebody gives him a bad look. A few guys give him a bad look. They all start reaching for the guns. He whips out his gun, and then he just pop, 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 pop. One shot everybody who was looking nefarious, and then he's looking all cool, but he doesn't want to look down, and he's going to put his gun in the holster, and just like can't find it. He's like,
it's like a guy who's trying to be tough and forgets where his straw is in his drink.
Yes. Anyways, that's just that was just a thing I wanted to share because it's just been in my brain. I'm like, there's no way I can make that into a joke, but
that's great. I love that.
Makes me laugh. Okay, here's an actual joke. I just wanted
one. Just it would be great if you bow, 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 keep, and then just but lets the gun go, and it just slides right down, hits the ground. And you can see it in his eyes. He doesn't look at it. He's just like, God damn it. That was going to be so cool.
He has to pretend like that's just what he does whenever he's done with a gun. He just...
It's like a mic drop. It's the Chris Rock of
he goes up to the bartender and he's like, do you know where I can buy a new gun? Whenever I kill 6 people in a row, I always buy a new gun afterwards.
that gun's done all it's killing. It's gonna do.
That's why I always keep a backup gun.
Clink, 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 clink. It's a nice log.
Here's my joke.
Boy.
That's an actual joke, not an idea. a image in my brain. I think it's always weird when somebody said that they had a preemie. I'm like, this baby isn't even supposed to be born yet. You already know how fast it comes?
That's good. I don't know if I can add anything to this.
Yeah.
Just great.
It's so bizarre, but I like it. My mind wasn't there at all, so mission accomplished. Well, I do think preemie is one of the stranger shortening of a word. It's like
it's
really strange.
It's a
very cute for something that's very sad.
Yes, and dangerous.
Right. Yeah,
people don't really do that with other conditions and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
she was a Lukey baby. What? She had.
We got your test results back, and I'm afraid you have whoop-de-poop.
What is that short for?
Is that a whooping cough?
Cancer.
Jared, did you get that Rob's was leukemia?
Because, I know.
Good.
I know.
Well.
Oh my God.
That riff's over.
I was trying to figure it out too. I was like, whooping cough?
Yeah. Whooping cough is serious, but I don't think people know that. Actually, I had the whooping cough in high school. They were like, you either have bronchitis or we're pretty sure you have the whooping cough. But either way, the cure is the same. Here's some really heavy cough syrup that is a narcotic. And you need to rest a lot.
How did you get whooping cough? Did you spend a lot of time on the Oregon Trail when you were growing up?
I was a Dissy baby. I think the preemie stuff is rich enough to explore that this intro, as weird as it is, works, and then you just go off and be like, but that's just a joke. But I have a topic I actually want to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think of that. I was just thinking that. I was like, that's a perfect, because I don't think I could just pull off. I might be able to pull off the joke just by itself, but I don't know if it's strong enough just for that. But if I'm just going like, yeah, just a joke to get into this thing, I think that's great, and I would really enjoy that. And it would be fun to explore the cutesy naming of that disease. It may even fit in my cluster headaches.
Oh yeah, honey bunches of
agony.
Yeah.
Well, you can have whoop-de-poop. That one's yours.
Actually, it's very, very funny. It might be a good way to end the bit. All right, great notes. Nice addition. I love that angle. Anything else for this, or should we check in with the comments?
Let's check in with the comments. We don't have a lot. Right. Silly Rat, I was a preemie, but lots of guys are the first time.
Oh my God.
I'll take it.
And Leedy Art, I have whooping sniffles. I've been sniffling for 3 months straight. Is that true, Leedy?
That is true. I've been sniffling for so long. Right before tour, I started sniffling, and I'm still sniffling now. So
maybe you're just used to dry air, and for some reason this.
I don't know what's happening.
I'm definitely not joking.
Maybe you've been in one specific climate for most of your life, And then
that's
are you
that's
joking
actually,
me?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
no, I'm not saying it like you're an idiot. I'm saying
okay.
obviously, you know.
Okay. I was like,
okay.
what is happening? She has been in one arid climate for most of her life.
Okay,
Crazy
Rob.
old Rob.
Maybe a really well thought out point that makes sense in terms of patterns and information that you know. That's a good connection. Nice, dude.
Maybe if you move to a different place, you get sick. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Well, I hope it's not the case, because I hope you don't have to move back like Jarret's dog did.
Which, by the way, I did the exact same thing to the dog. It's like, oh, you're coughing here. You're coughing here. But in California, you're okay.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
It was interesting. I asked my sister, who's an acupuncturist, because Leedy went to an ENT, right?
Yeah.
She went to a doctor. She went to an ENT, and they were just like, "Oh, it's a cold. You'll get better." And so that's when people are like, "Okay, let me get an opinion from somebody who isn't Western medicine." And my sister's an acupuncturist, so I was like, "Hey, could I ask you, some would you have any advice for her?" She was just like, "Okay, can you actually send me a picture of her tongue?" And I was like, sure. And I was like, "Hey, babe, open your mouth. And I'm gonna put a camera in there." So yeah,
What am I, Jarret?
Just from
Making me hungry.
Just from the picture of her tongue, my sister was like, "Oh yeah, she should be avoiding like dairy, caffeine, chocolate. So try to stop those things for a week and see if it has made any improvement." Which is all of Leedy's diet, which was really hard.
I don't want to be too Western medicine-y here, but have you been to an allergist at all?
I am avoiding them because I don't want them to tell me that I can't eat what I want to eat.
Well,
that's the reason why I don't go to the AIDS doctor.
That's what I actually wanted Whoop-de-Poop to be. I was going to suggest that Whoop-de-Poop is AIDS. Because we already did leukemia, which is a form of cancer.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I think it's time that we slow things down here a bit on Is This Anything with our closing act.
The Patreon. Patreon.com/ITA pod.
The velvety, smooth thoughts of Robert Ryan.
Unless he's excited.
Okay, I have a joke that reminds me of our former cast member, Anthony Kapfer. So I wanted to share this with you guys.
A second mention in this episode.
Yeah. It's only a marathon if it's done in Marathon, Greece. Everywhere else, it's just known as a sparkling jog of sadness.
Excellent.
Literally copying his joke. He just loves making that kind of joke.
Oh, that's but he has a version of that, but that's an ongoing structure for a joke that I've seen all over the internet for years.
But so anyway, that's something. I don't know if you like that or think that's fun.
I would actually. I think I like it a lot. I think that. What did you say? Sparkling.
I just wrote
jog of sadness.
Jog of sadness. Yeah.
I think that you can find something a little bit more truer. That's an observation about people who run marathons that isn't just as trodden as just a jog of sadness. Although that is a very funny series of words. Maybe like a sparkling escape from your problems by throwing yourself into something rigorous that doesn't address your marital problems. Something a little bit more of a dig at marathon.
Sparkling thing you bring up at parties for the next 4 weeks.
Okay, I've got another one here. I have just come to accept the fact that when my dad texts me, "Please call me," he needs help with his computer or someone is dead. Is that the right level of not a big deal. It's a big deal because I never know. Because he did it last night to me. He says, "Please call me."
Extremely relatable for me.
Oh, I'm like, which is it, buddy?
Either way, it can probably wait till tomorrow.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it needs a little tag. Oh, that's great.
I love it. There's something about the way that you told it that made me think that it was just going to be the computer thing, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's just like where my brain went. I do think it would be funny if you, at the end, after the punchline, you could maybe tag it with, so you have to answer the phone in this tone that can mean anything.
Ooh,
you know, cool. Like I'm ready to be sympathetic or I'm ready to get down to business.
This brings up another good, interesting comedic question. Jarret, because correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm a comedian too.
Brett, correct me if I'm wrong. Leedy, you can go to the bathroom.
Leedy, wait for art questions.
Hey, she left. She's a comedian. She did it.
Great.
When Leedy goes to the bathroom wearing that harness, it's called spelunking.
We're going to have to rescue her like those Thai kids. I got to watch that documentary, by the way.
I want to do more actually reading up on Elon Musk because I have heard so much hate on him that it makes, from the sources that normally hate without information, just like group thing.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Jarret, you know who we're talking about.
Doesn't sound familiar.
That it makes me think that he might actually not be that bad. I have to find out for myself.
From the little research that I have done, it sounds like for personality wise, and like as far as like not paying taxes, screwing over his workers, and just like being a real piece of shit on social media. All facts, all things that don't need to be researched. The only thing that's like maybe has redeeming quality.
Wrong there. I don't know. That's the whole point. Is that I am like, all facts. No.
It's established.
Treats his workers awful. I don't know anything about that other than the fact that you've just said it. So let me go look at.
You can trust me. You can trust me.
Research,
Brett.
All facts.
No, Brett. You don't need to ask anybody else. I got you.
Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines.
Garrett Berenstein tells you the truth about
Mom
things.
dropped him off with a gun.
Yeah. Belongs in jail. The only thing that I've heard that people like actually argue about is he a genius? Like, did he do anything with Tesla? Or, I think he made all of his money through PayPal, maybe. I forget if he was an original investor there. Is he a genius business-wise, tech-wise, anything? Or did he luck out? He got government stimulus and that allowed Tesla to stay afloat long enough for it to become a fucking thing. And so that's the area where I've heard on both sides, people are like, he's lucky, he's a child of privilege. He actually is somebody who is changing the world with his technologies and his business acumen. So, yeah.
It's so funny, Jarret, because maybe unwittingly you have created a perfect, manipulative, logical trap and fallacy. It's just like your sentence structure was like, we all know the moon is made of cheese. The real question
what kind of cheese is it?
Yeah. And like, it's just so funny to structure it that way. Be like, well, the baseline, he chooses Oracle, it doesn't do anything. That doesn't even have to be researched. The only thing that's really in question is blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, we all know it's either Coke or Pepsi. There's no other choices out there. The question is, which is better, Coke or Pepsi? And you're just like, what? RC Cole is sitting there. You're like, is this fair?
Well, anyway, I am confident, Brett, that when you do your research, you will agree.
Let's go watch a documentary. That actually sounds really fun.
Elon Musk documentary.
Let's watch 2 documentaries.
Is there one? I feel like we should get back to the jokes. We got to wrap this episode up,
Yeah, we do. Sparkling jog of sadness is what I have. I love the idea of, yes, there is some Jarret, your idea was just like I have to call him now with a tone that could go either way.
Yeah.
Hey Dad, what's going on? Robert, this damn login is you're like, oh, thank goodness.
I got one word for you, death. And you're like, still could be either.
I'm trying to log into my email, and it's important because Grandma's dead, and I need to. Yeah, I mean that's great.
If you can make it so it seems like it's a computer problem, and then you get maybe even pissed at your dad, where you're like, Dad, when you text me this, I think somebody is dead. He's like, oh yeah, your grandma's dead. That's why I don't have to get in my email. You know, that I think that if you can kind of offhandedly.
Well,
that's the urgency.
I guess I don't know. Oh, you'll be funny. I don't know what the solution is because I don't think I need a text that says someone died. Call. They're like, all right. I guess you're right. You win, Dad. or I could say I finally told him you can't keep texting me. Please text me. You know, because then I'm gonna think someone's dead. And he went, okay, you're right. I'm sorry. So next time he texted me, he says, you know, so and so's dead. No need to call.
What was the original text message that you're like, I have to please call me. It'd be funny if his next one was, please call me, no dead.
This is a little macabre, but I did have to start texting that to my brother after family members kept dying. I would call him, and he just wouldn't answer my calls. There was like a good 2 years of his life where I'd call him, and he wouldn't answer. And I would be like, hey, Steve, just tried to call. No one's dead. Just call me back.
Is that in the solo show? Because that's hilarious. That's super funny.
I just was thinking about that now. But yeah, there was a period of time.
You do have in the solo show the part where maybe when your mom is dead. Oh yeah, your older brother calls you, and he's like, Mom's dead. By the way, I know what you're thinking. I didn't kill Mom. Is that in there?
That's in there. It's later because he calls me. He said, very serious, Mom's dead. I come home. There's police in the living room. And Tim looks really like awkward and uncomfortable. And my mother and Tim had a very contentious like relationship. And he's like, hey, and I go downstairs to him. He's like, I know what you're thinking. I didn't kill Mom. And it was so funny and fucked up because there was like a good part of me that was like, please. Just don't say that you killed Mom, because this night's gonna get like so much worse if that's what happened. He's like,
so you could text him, "Hey man, I just heard you call you. No one's dead," and then he texts you back. He's like, "Good, because I didn't kill anybody." Anything else for Rob Ryan, everybody?
No, but great jokes.
Great joke.
Very
great
relatable for me. I get even shorter texts from my dad that just say, "Please call," all caps. All caps. Now it's time for something to happen. Something to happen. What will it be? It's gonna be Leedy drawing for us. She did some drawings. Yay!
Yeah.
Great song, Brett.
How incredible was that song? All right. Which way are the drawings coming from?
That way.
I sure hope so. Or I'm gonna pitch a fucking fit.
Every time I'm gonna do that. All right, first up I have strap stream.
Wow,
this is amazing.
That's so cool.
And I've added what I think is going on underneath on your leg.
Fantastic.
Garter.
Yeah. Then I have very close. Condescending Rob.
Oh, I love it.
And then I have Lord of the Rings, the Two Towels. And I could have gone more in depth with this one, but I was running out of time. So, so it just has that, and it has that. So.
In my suit.
And then I have. It's a trap. Which I feel should be posted without any context.
Hell yeah.
That should be a shirt.
That's a shirt.
God, that is a shirt. Please make this into a shirt. Ooh.
Then I have he's
He looks it.
So good.
Excellent.
He's shy.
That could also be a t-shirt, I feel.
Yeah. Because you know what? It is a pretty common thing for parents to blame shyness on stupidity. So I think people would get that. Sound off in the comments. Would people get that?
Without context.
No context.
And shout out to Gus, who made the Trapezoid General Akbar joke.
Yay, Gus!
Right.
Hey.
If you like the feeling of being called out, Gus, join the Patreon.
And last but not least, Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's just nice.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That's a shirt. That's another shirt. Sell it.
This was the second.
Spring.
This was the second fucking time I tried to draw Jake Gyllenhaal, and I had to start over.
It reads.
Because it wasn't looking like him.
It
He has
looks
such
like
a hard
Jake
face
Gyllenhaal.
to draw, and it pisses me off. I hate your face, Jake. All right.
Your fucking face.
But it's so easy to love, you know?
So mysterious.
That's it from me. Join my Patreon, and you don't get any cool shout outs. Sorry. But you will get a Christmas card. You'll get a Christmas card and my gratitude.
What's your Patreon, Leedy?
It's Patreon / Leedy Corbin. Just put in my name.
Patreon.com /
Leedy Corbin.
Dummy.
And what's your Instagram, Leedy?
It's just my name on all the socials. And my Twitch is twitch.tv / Leedy Art. So come join.
All right.
Yay.
Well, we did it, everybody. Another episode. Goodbye. Okay. Now we get the good stuff. Brett's crotch
so
again.
Cool.
Thanks so much for watching. Check back every Monday for new episodes, or you can listen wherever you enjoy podcasts. If you want to help support the show, tell your friends how much you like Is This Anything? Or get involved, like an episode, share, comment, subscribe. If you want more Is This Anything, you got to join our Patreon at patreon.com/ITAPod. We have a ton of awesome exclusive content on there, and you can join for as little as $1 a month. Check out the links in the description, and hopefully we'll see you next week.